Yeah, the whole event as it unfolds, as I said, I was shocked to see how quickly they
Instantly.
it was like we got the order, okay, let's go. They wasted no there was no moment wasted there. And as we've already seen, the trickling off of a few birds in the care of the CFIA. Now, there's a lot of speculation in terms of how the CFIA will actually conduct this work. And I wanted to throw to you an article that you shared,
Yeah.
Sheila, from CTV News.
Yeah, because
Um,
I myself had been curious about how they plan to do this. Like, and
yeah,
I want to stress, I am by no means an animal rights activist. Uh, I am largely a carnivore. I know a lot of the animals I eat personally. Like I know the farmer. I know I know how they're raised. I think that's important. Um, so I understand the cycle of life on a farm. Being a farmer myself, I was raised on a pretty large lamb operation. Um, and so, like, don't get me wrong. I understand that, like the animals die and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. But there have been a lot of people asking how these ostriches will ultimately be killed at the hands of the state. And apparently there's a manual for that. They have thought of everything over at the CFIA. Describes sitting on ostriches to inject a lethal drug, so quite literally execution style, as the BC cull ruling nears. And this was published like on the 5th. Today is the 6th, of course. So the Canadian Food Inspection Agency document on culling birds describes how ostriches should be killed by methods that can include breaking their necks, lethal injection, gassing, or shooting. If I had to guess, they'll probably do the last one there just for ease. Um, but I can't imagine these people want to break their necks. Th- You know what I mean? I think they want to be to depersonalize this as much as possible.
I can't imagine. I think it describes it would take three people. I read
Yeah,
somewhere there if they wanted to take the method of sitting on the bird
yeah.
and then injecting them. I mean,
And
that would
it's
be a
into their
sight.
brain. It's not just into
Oh,
the flesh of the animal. Intracranial injection is said to be quick and minimally stressful to the bird, although may be emotional for the owners to watch. You think? You
which is
think?
why they built a hay wall around
Right.
the, as Drea called it, the kill pen,
Yeah.
which is very fitting. But I just there is no humane way that you can undertake an
No,
order of this magnitude. There with birds and creatures of this size, and I don't think we've mentioned like they are fast.
they're so fast and their feet are scary. I, uh, if a CFIA agent doesn't get gored by a bird, I'm going to be very surprised. The very raptor-like feet, they're frightening feet on an ostrich. Um, Drea isn't the only journalist there, however. A member of the Independent Press Gallery of Canada in good standing, Chris Dacey from Ottawa, has been there for, I think, the better part of a month.
Mm-hmm.
He's fully taken into Ostrichapalooza, and he was also in the farmhouse. He's got a short clip. Drea was there too, but Drea's isn't a live stream, so it might be a little bit more difficult to find. Chris Dacey was in the farmhouse along with Drea when the farmers got the news, and it's so heartbreaking because they thought they did get uh, what they wanted, that the Supreme Court would hear their appeal. And then very quickly they realized that wasn't the case. And it was just from elation to devastation in seconds.
Are you live? This is what I'm talking about. Mom. Wait a second. Oh, we got it!
What?
We got it! Yeah, baby! Yeah!
What?
You can see Drea reading it there.
Just think, guys, live from the kitchen.
Poor Drea.
Holy crap!
We got it! We got the Supreme Court, baby!
Wait.
Wait.
No.
not reading it right.
Oh my God.
No, I'm sorry.
Wait a sec. Wait a
No,
sec.
what is it? No, I'm sorry.
Don't.
I read
Okay,
it
I
wrong.
can't
No.
do this. No, wait. Don't.
Wait,
don't.
wait.
No, I read it wrong.
Somebody's got to do
No.
this egg, please.
Okay, he's having a moment.
No.
Dismissed.
No.
For fuck's sakes.
Oh, never mind.
No.
We lost.
Are you kidding me? Why
Oh,
did
for
it
fuck's
say
sake!
granted? It's a
No,
granted.
that's somebody else's case.
You got the one above you, Darla? Oh, no.
No. That's why I
No.
said, why would you
I'm
let
sorry.
her read it?
Mom,
Like,
don't be mad. Don't be
no,
mad.
I'm sorry. Like, oh my God. This is like the worst thing.
Are you?
I'm gonna cancel that.
No, please.
Okay, I'm gonna get out there.
Okay, we better, we better.
Tensions are already so high, and then to have that, just what an extra thing to have to deal with on top of
Yeah.
everything else that's going on at that farm.
Yeah, I mean, I know, Dre is there doing her job, and I'm so glad that she is, but pretty tough for her to have to break that news to the farmers.
Mhm.
She was like, actually, because Drea was reading the decision just as everybody else is reading the decision. And apparently they read like the bottom of the one above instead of theirs. And just what a terrible, terrible thing to have. Like you could look at that and see like they truly felt like the rug was just pulled out from underneath them. And they've been so hopeful from the very beginning. That was one of the things that I found when I was there. Was like everybody was just so hopeful. There was not a pessimist in the bunch. And even today, as their birds are being herded, I think as we speak, into the kill pens, they still remain hopeful for a miracle, legal or otherwise. Because at the end of the day, the CFIA could just say, you know what, there's actually zero public interest in us doing this, and so let's just not. But this is the government, and I think, how do you back out of this at this point when they've dragged this through the courts, they've dragged this family through hell? How do you pump the brakes now? I mean, look at this. This, I think, should be the photo of 2025. This is Canada in 2025. Katie Sidney collapsed in grief on that live stream. She's wailing in like agony, calling out to her birds by name, and now collapsed in grief. Supporters supporting her as her partner is there yelling at the CFIA. This is Carney's Canada. This is just an extension of the same stupid public health rules that had our grandparents dying alone in hospital rooms without anybody allowed to touch them.
Yeah. It's COVID 2.0, and just shows you that the unmitigated overreach of the state under the guise of public health emergencies hasn't gone anywhere, and it can be reinvigorated and rejustified at any time. I was reading a little bit further in the CTV News article about the ways in which the CFIA manual details culling methods. And, I really don't think that it is specific. I don't think it was ever meant for ostriches. This, I think, was just for smaller birds like chickens, and those used for food, right? Because this was another big contention with this case, is that these birds are not for consumption. And so typically where the CFIA's cull orders come from is food-based products and food-based poultry.
Okay, let's just stop it right here.
But
this is a very sinister part of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say here.
It's where I was going.
They expect the owners of these birds to cooperate and then lure their beloved animal into its death. With the owner's help, lure the ostrich with food into a position where it can be restrained. Well, we just saw them luring them with food. We literally just saw them on a live stream. Place a hood over the bird's head. Cut off sleeve of elastic material, a sweatshirt sleeve. Once the ostrich is hooded, it can be easily sedated and euthanized. You could gas them if you wanted to. The birds can be killed with carbon dioxide gas in a sealed chamber. The method is slower and more stressful for the birds than other methods. Gunshots should be considered as a last resort for euthanasia. Breaking a bird's neck is also appropriate in some situations and is listed among methods when dealing with larger birds such as emus and ostriches.
Mm. So yeah, there are ostrich stipulations in the manual, but another thing it says that sedation should be considered before euthanasia because the birds can be large, uncontrollable, or dangerous. But I mean, there's like 300 plus, 300 to 400 birds.
Yeah.
How, as you said, Sheila, logistically, this is a nightmare.
Right. And like, if we listen to the CFIA, these are a biohazard catastrophe. So how do you deal with 400 bird corpses? You know, like, how do you deal with that? How do you get that out of there? Are you just going to leave it there for the farmer to deal with? Like, what's going on here? I just,
And the
this is-
local,
yeah.
the local, I don't, is it a
Landfill.
dump or yeah,
It's a
the local landfill said already they wouldn't take them
Right.
without testing. They said, no, you need to prove to us that these aren't biohazards, and we won't take these birds after the cull unless you prove to us that they're not sick, right? Because again, another point of contention in this case was that the CFIA was not retesting any of the healthy birds. They tested, I think,
Right.
one of them almost a year ago, and it showed a very specific strain of the H1, not the N1 or something,
Right.
strain of the avian flu. And so the CFIA would not undertake any of that additional testing that the farm kept requesting and was willing to undertake on their own accord financially and logistically. And they still continued to refuse. And I think that was part of the order to appeal was, let's get some additional testing and can we just mandate that happens?
Right.
But part of the landfill's refusal to take any dead birds was, again, hinged on that testing stipulation. And once again, that's just completely disregarded. No justification. No one answers to why that may be. And here we are with the flock being imminently culled.
Yeah. And, you know, like, the thing is, where are you going to send them? Well, I think there's a facility in Burnaby that can handle bio-waste like this. There's also one in Swan Hills, Alberta, I think, that can handle bio-waste. And again, I don't think these are bio-waste, but that's what they say they are. So like, this is an enormous undertaking that they're going to do here. And all they had to do was test the birds. Like, that's the easy thing to do, right? Instead of setting up these fences, taking care and control of this farm for 6 weeks, dealing with the birds after the fact, figuring out, do I break their necks? Do I strangle them, or do I gas them in a gas chamber?
Do I sit on them?
Yeah. Do I inject something into their brain? And having the police there for this long, just the easy thing would have been to just test them and then said, oh, you know what? They're good. They exhibited antibodies. We're just going to skedaddle. But that's not what the government did here. They don't care about ease. They don't care about public health, pretty clearly. They only care about bringing everybody to bear under these stupid rules that don't make any sense, specifically for birds like ostriches and ratites and emus and kiwis, I think, are also in the mix there. It just doesn't make any sense unless you see it through, these are the people we will control, and we're going to do what we want to them, even if they don't like it.